Hi, my name is Pam Denny. I'm the designer and architect of the Maximo BI or Business Intelligence tools. In today's demo, I'm going to highlight some of the new Maximo 7.6 BI features focused on Cognos reporting. And the feature I'm going to focus on today is the Maximo Cognos reports. Those enterprise reports that were delivered or developed in the Cognos tools for Maximo. And to show you that, I'm come over here to the IBM Cognos connection. And within the Cognos connection, or I sometimes call it the Cognos portal, the user will see all the reports that they have access to. By default, our reports are located under a public MX76 folder. And within that folder, you'll see the areas or the different application areas that reports are available on. In the case of Maximo, we focused on 4 key areas: asset, asset failures, inventory, and work order. If I open up any one of those 4 areas, in this case I'll select asset, I notice right away I have 2 different subfolders, one for my workspaces and one for reports. Well, in this demo we're going to focus on reports, so let me drill down into that report subfolder. As I do that, I can see again the list of all the individual reports that I have access to. In this case, there's 3 reports: an asset cost analysis, an asset PM analysis, and spare part details. If I select the reports for the workspace, what this subfolder is, it's a collection of all the individual reports that are that make up the individual workspaces that we have. In most cases, your enterprise users won't have access to that subfolder, but I just wanted you to know that it was there. Well, let's select one of these reports and let's pick our asset cost analysis. And as I do that, I'm going to see a parameter page. And the parameter page is where I come in and I put in my individual filter values. As you can see, there are some required values. It's noted with the orange asterisk, so I have a required value for site. So let me pick Laredo in Texas here. These other values are available to me if I want to further, perhaps filter down my data. I want to only look at assets that are active or operating. So I can select those, and I'm going to pretty much go forward with that. And I'm now going to go ahead and click Finish. So what's going to happen is my individual parameter values are built or sent across the report, and now my data displays. In the case that I selected 3 sites, it looks like I only have data for site Bedford. But let's drill down into this report so we understand it a little bit better. At the very top, here's my title. Here's the different parameter values that I selected. And in most of our reports, we start out with a graph. We have found that many users only want to see a graph. They don't necessarily want to see the individual details. Well, what I have right now is for my site Bedford. How am I doing as a relation to my actual to budgeted costs? Well, my actual costs are actually very low here. They're only 15% of my budgeted costs, and even though we're in December, it's probably an unlikely scenario, and I'm going to attribute that to our max demo data. But also what's interesting here is we're starting to pull in things like our average maintenance cost. It's probably not very applicable at a site level. You might want to drill it down at a location or an individual asset level. But what we're doing with the average maintenance cost is we're taking the number of years the asset is in service. Basically, it's install date minus today's date, correlating that to the number of years, and then taking the number of years and having that divided by the total cost of the asset to again come up with that average maintenance cost figure. So within this report, without getting into a lot of other details, a couple of things that you might want to do or navigate with it is I can come down here, and on the bottom excuse me, I can see my different values for Bedford. I can see my average, and that again might be helpful if I had multiple sites that had data. Once I have this, there's numerous features that you can utilize within Cognos. I can export this to different formats. I can view, for example, in PDF format, and as I do that, it's going to transpose the data into PDF. That's a really nice format, and pretty much the industry standard that we have for printing and viewing reports. It's giving me, it looks like some sort of a plugin that I'm going to bypass on, and let me just go back. I actually love this little arrow key. If you notice that, it lost my report. Well, it lost it, so let's run another one. That's a beautiful part of, working with these reports. Just run it again, get the information you need, but it also gives me the opportunity to show you a different report. So in this case, I'm looking at my assets that have spare parts. It's a pretty interesting metrics. If our assets don't have spare parts, we don't have the right materials in-house, so when they fail, we're not able to repair them quickly. So I can see immediately that Bedford's got a lot of work to do. A very small value of their, a very small percentage of their assets, less than or just about 5%, only have spare parts associated with them. So quite a bit of work that's got to be done there in Bedford. But what I was trying to show you previously is, again, as I come here, is the different formats that I can view this information in, and as long as you have your plugins deployed, you should be all set with that. You also might want to keep this version. I might want to save this particular content. Maybe it's an end of the year report, an end of the month. Maybe I want to save it so it's always available to me. Maybe I want to email it to myself. All those type of features are available within Cognos. You have the ability to email, to export, to save, share with others. Very, very powerful capability. So let me navigate back again one more time to reiterate the architecture that we have, and I'll utilize this cookie crumb trail that we have. So again, to reiterate, we have 4 main folders under Public MX76: Asset, Asset Failures, Inventory, Work Order. If I open up any one of those folders, I can see my workspace and metric reports. If I open up the Report subfolder, that's where I'm going to see each one of my individual reports, and then I can select any one of those, and that will bring up my request page where I can run the report and have the values display for me. And because I'm here, I'll quickly select just Bedford and have this report execute. So again, that's a very top-level introduction to the navigation of the reports within Cognos, the parameter page, and then how the report will display. And I'm just going to wait a minute here while my report refreshes with my inventory turns value. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much for your time. Thank you.